Right, so today we're bringing you something new. We've got the in-person with the cards profile for a deck that's doing quite well in the OCG at the minute, and we're getting in the TCG later this year. It's FLUNDEREEZE. It's got a lot of hype, and I'm going to be basically taking you through it, not so much as a deck profile, just a sort of these cards are mandatory and here's what I expect to see played. So yeah, let's get into it. This one should be a bit interesting. So here we are with the Flunder deck. So we're going to start with just the baby birds. So something to bear in mind while I go through the birds is they all have the same effect. They're banished when they leave the field. When they're in the banish zone and you normal summon a FLUNDEREEZE, you can add them back to your hand, which allows you to chain block. And you can't special summon during the turn you activate their effects. So this deck, some people think it's a bit helmet, I think it's a bit more complex than that, but anyway, what Robin does is, when you normal summon him, you can add 1 level 4 or lower winged beast from your deck to your hand, then you can immediately after that effect resolves, normal summon. So this is where the deck snowballs, so they all have the same effect as I've just mentioned, but Eagle lets you search for the level 7 or higher winged beasts. And then immediately after that effect resolves, normal summon. We then run 2 Ostrich. I really like Ostrich. It's not as good as the others. Basically what he does is he's just a DD Crow for any card in the graveyard, yours as well. Then you can immediately normal summon. But he's the only one that you're pretty much always able to activate because you'll always have something in your grave. So that's why I really like Ostrich. And Toucan I don't like at all, but you have to run him. His effect, as well as all the other ones that he has in common with the other birds, he lets you add 1 from your banish pile to your hand. So you might think, well, why do you need to do that if they all do that anyway? It's because of the field spell. So like you'll, I'll show you the combo when I get into it, but Toucan does come up. So onto the big ones, we run 2 FLUNDEREEZE Empen. Now this is the card that makes the deck playable. When you tribute summon him, you can search for a FLUNDEREEZE spell or trap, so instant access to whatever you need. While he's in attack position as a tribute summon monster, your opponent's monsters in attack position cannot activate their effects. So he's essentially a Mystic Mine for attack position monsters. This is mental. So it's any link monsters turned off, any normal summon is turned off. He's just so good. And his effect is when he battles, you can banish a card from your hand and during the damage step halve their attack, so he's pretty hard to kill as well. And then we also run 1 Snow Owl. He's the less good of the bosses. Basically when he's on the field you can activate the effect that during your main phase you can normal summon 3 times, so he gives you extra normal summons. He's cool sometimes, like you'll have weird board states where you'll need the extra normal summons if you want to go into like Apex Avian and stuff like that, so he comes up there. And his other effect is during your opponent's turn you can banish a card from your hand and you get to ultimate conduct a Tyranno their whole board and just set it. So he's pretty good. For other sort of big winged beasts, I run a Rise of the Mega Monarch. This is an essential card. This card is phenomenal. You can search this card and tribute summon it on your opponent's turn, and because you'll tribute it with a winged monster, you'll get to target 2 cards on the field to put them back on top of the deck and add a card from the graveyard to the hand. He's so good. Really good card. Get them now while they're 20 quid, because if a reprint doesn't come out and this deck is indeed meta, as I do believe it will be, there will be probably a little bit more than that. Other cards you can run for the sort of big winged beasts, you can run Apex Avian. I think I will be running Apex Avian, I just can't find mine, I've misplaced it for somewhere. You can also run a barrier statue, which I actually side. I'm not keen on it in the main so much because it is easy to just run over. He's cool with Snow Owl setups, I suppose, where you'll just book the whatever they summon, but I do like barrier statue, just in the side there. For the spells, we run 3 FLUNDEREEZE and the Mysterious Map. This is the field spell that means you don't die to an effect veiler on your normal summon. Basically, you reveal a Flunder in your hand and banish 1 from the deck. Then you immediately normal summon the monster you banished. This is an extra normal summon, so you still get your regular normal summon for the turn. You need to remember that because it can be a bit tricky to keep up with all the normal summons. But this is where Toucan comes into it. Because whatever you banish with this, you will have to use the effect to add it to hand. So then, when you tribute over it, it'll just stay in the banish zone until the next turn, and that's when the Toucan comes up and lets you add it back. For the other FLUNDEREEZE spell, we run FLUNDEREEZE and the Unknown Winds, or the Lost Winds, I think this card's called. This card's really good. Essentially, while it's a continuous spell, while it's on the field, once per turn you can activate the effect. Then on resolution you reveal up to two winged beast monsters in your hand, put them on the bottom of your deck and draw 2 new cards, or 1 card if you revealed 1, so he's pretty good for unclogging your hand. And his really good effect is when you would tribute summon a winged beast, you can actually send 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard as tribute material. That's spell and traps. It's also non-targeting, so it's a Mystic Mine out, it's a Dragoon out, it's everything out. It's even a rival Cyber Satignister out because it's treated as a condition rather than the effect. And it works with the Flunder monsters as well, so because it specifies sent to graveyard on the card, because these wouldn't be sent to graveyard, there was an OCG ruling where people thought it wouldn't trigger. However, it has been ruled that they do trigger, so they just get banished instead. There was a comparison of a card, I can't remember what it was, someone will put it in the comments, but yeah. As for other sort of essentials, it's essential to run 3 duality in this deck. You don't special summon, and this card's really good, especially in decks that don't special summon, as true Draco players will know. So you run 3 duality. You also run 3 prosperity, and a card that I don't see ran at all, and I don't for the life of me know why, is Gold Sarcophagus. This is effectively Stratos. Like, again, you just banish whatever one you want, normal summon, and add it back. I don't know why people don't run this. I don't know if people haven't realised. I never see it in the groups or anything.
You can chain block your normal summon as well.
Yeah, you can chain block your normal summon, which is a cool thing these cards let you do. So this card's really good. I don't know why people don't play it. We run for traps 3 of the Flundereeze and the Sleepy Breeze, or the Sleepy something or other. It's got a really cringe name, but it's a really good trap. Basically, you just search it off Emperor and you set it, activating your opponent's main phase, you get to immediately normal summon. It's mad in this deck because you will like normal summon 4 or 5 times during your opponent's main phase. It's silly, and when it's in the grave, it's really good effect is when you tribute summon a level 7 or higher winged beast, you can banish it and Book of Moon your opponent's board again. So yeah, he's really good. The other trap we run is the counter trap for Flundereeze. I only run 1 in the main because it's not very good against certain decks. It's a bit sort of sticky. I side the other 2 though, because certain decks it does just shut down. But basically, when your opponent would special summon a monster, if you control a Flundereeze level 7 or higher, you activate this, you negate the summon, shuffle it back into the deck, and for the rest of the turn your opponent cannot special summon, but they can normal summon 3 times. So against decks like Drytron, against decks like Virtual World, this card's just cracked. And then for a card that I think should be a staple in every Flunder list, it's Dogmatic Punishment. At 3, no less. You don't special summon from the extra deck, so this card is just 3 pops. You can also do some cool stuff with Charade as well, where like on your opponent's turn, if you've used these effects and they're stuck in the banish zone, you can send Charade with this. He's got 3k attacks, you should be able to send most things to the grave, and then you get to actually rotor. You can do stuff with Ferrigit where you get to draw cards, you can just do regular Entis to pop 2 things. It's really good. So now for some optional cards. As I've talked about the Barrier Statue already. D-Fisher and Macrocosmos I think should be in the side deck at the very least. I could see arguments to main D-Fisher, to be honest. Everything's getting banished anyway, so yeah. Another card you should always be running in the main deck, and I haven't got to hand at the minute, is Dimensional Shifter. This is the best deck that can use D-Shifter. All your guys get banished anyway, so you can D-Shifter on your first turn before you do any plays. And then you can normal summon your Ostrich and banish your D-Shifter, so then your other D-Shifter's alive. It's stupid, and a lot of decks in the meta can't actually get around a D-Shifter. It's like a turn skip.
Shifter turns Veiler off as well, yeah?
Yeah, it turns Veiler off. It turns anything that sends to graveyard off, so it's really good. Another card I like is Lose One Turn. I think if this deck becomes meta, this will see a price rise. At the moment, these are pennies on the pound. It's like Skill Drain, basically. For those who remember like Cliff Up format, they'll remember how oppressive this card was when you can get over it, and it doesn't affect you in the slightest. And the final card I want to talk about is Harpis Featherstorm. I really like the idea of this card. However, I sided it when I was playing Symbol Tri Brigade, and I sided it in this, and it rarely comes up. It's an interesting card to just block all effects, but if your combo is going the way you want it to, your Empen's doing that anyway, you've got your Lose One Turns, you've got your macros, like it'd just rather be other stuff. I've never thought, let's not side in these to side in this. Like, it's just one of those. But some people do swear by this and play it in the main, so I can understand why. So that's everything. So there we have it for the Flundereeze. All the cards are in Japanese this time, so if you do have any questions or comments, then pop them in the comment section and I will answer them. And don't forget, when this deck rolls around, if you want to grab any of the cards, go to tcgaccess.co.uk. Our affiliate link's in the description. They'll hook you right up. Thank you for watching.